distinguished pleasure of introducing somebody who I really care about. He thinks I'm a stalker. I'm not a stalker. He's just pretty awesome at what he does. He is a native Hawaiian storyteller. I've seen him speak on multiple occasions. He's come and done a couple of events for us for After School All-Stars at UH at Manoa. And I am excited to hear him share with you guys. Make sure that you pay full attention to what he is going to share with you, because he has awesome things to share with you. I know he does. His accolades go far beyond anything that I could talk about, because I'm going to take up all his time. But just real quick, he is on the news every week. He's on KHON2, so he reports throughout the week. He does the weather on the weekends. He's a friend of mine. He's really awesome people. Make sure you give a big round of applause for our brother, Mr. Kamakapili.
Mahalo nui, everybody, for having me here today. I'm very honored to share space with you all and just to share a little bit about, I guess, my journey to help hopefully inspire all of you in your journey, leaving intermediate school and middle school, heading to high school, and then, of course, what are you going to be doing afterwards? Well, my name is Kamakapili. I'm a native from Kailua, fourth generation from Kailua, so being on this side of the island is a little bit different for me. But it's a beautiful space here, and I always love sharing our mo'olelo for all of us, no matter where we are on this island or throughout the islands or across the world, because there's so much mo'olelo. And that's kind of what I focused on. And I remember sitting in your seats. I mean, when I was back in Kailua Intermediate School, I was the quiet person who sat in the back and didn't really like to talk. And as much as my career today, it just trips me out how I can come from the back of the seat and in the back of the room and the seat in the quiet in the shade where nobody really sees, and then now I'm in the front talking story with all of you. And that again just is a journey within itself. But I do have to give credit for my job to give me the skills and the words to be able to speak in front of you, and even just the confidence, because not an easy thing. Hawaiian culture and what it meant to be Hawaiian started to really expose itself to me, and that's where my journey, I like to give credit to where it really began, because for me it was about hula. And before high school, I grew up in a family, very local family. You know, we fishing, surfing, farming consisted of pulling weeds in the backyard, and some local stuff. But we weren't very heavy in Hawaiian culture. I'm definitely more Hawaiian in practice now than I was when I was young. But it was a great a start for me to at least start to become aware of what there is, but hopefully understand what else is there in Hawaiian. We all love to say that we're from Hawaii. Hawaiians love to say, yeah, I'm Hawaiian. But then in my mind, my question is, okay, what does it mean to be Hawaiian? Because in Kailua, I know what it is when guys like to be out there and they start jumping up and down, and this is a time when, oh yeah, bro, I'm Hawaiian. What, you like scrap? That's like, bruh, that is what it means to be Hawaiian? Okay, well, let's see what else is out there. And for me, hula was the beginning. And I came from a family where hula was, my dad was totally against guys dancing hula. No, bro, you want to be mahu. You're going to end up being a kumuhula. You're going to be doing all this stuff, and it was very discouraging me to join hula, but I did it anyway, because I wasn't going to allow somebody else to not allow me to follow through my interests. So in high school, I joined hula. After I started hula and graduated, I went to UH Hilo, and I really started to dig into what Hawaiian culture looks like, at least in one perspective. Now, in UH Hilo, it was a big eye-opener in terms of Olelo Hawaii, Hawaiian language. Who speaks Hawaiian? Okay, I would say awesome, but that is a big indicator of what is there for us to learn. You know, Olelo Hawaii is, there's a saying, to kill a people, you take away their language. If you want to remove a people, you take away the way they speak. You take away their words. You take away their language. And that's why there was such a huge effort to revitalize Hawaiian language. And through this effort, Punana Leo, and you have all these charter schools, and you have all this effort that continues, and the momentum continues to build, where a lot of keiki are speaking Olelo as their native language. And when I hear young keiki, it makes me all nervous. And one of your teachers was just talking to me outside before I came in here, and Olelo was freaking me out, and I didn't know how to respond. So it's always a work in progress. But I see an issue. We need to learn more Hawaiian. So then that builds in my mind. As I graduated college, I went to start becoming what they say, stepping into the real world and being an adult for yourself, which, by the way, enjoy this moment when you're in school, because once you're out of school, you're on your own, and it sucks. Adulting is not fun. But as you grow older, you start to, for me, you start to realize more this word kuleana. I was growing up with my tutu, who just recently passed this past August, and she passed at 108 and a half, because in February 13th, she would have made 109. Growing up, that wasn't really anything to me. It wasn't anything different until I started to step out into the real world and started to see how many people didn't have their great-grandmother, how many people don't have their grandmother. So then the value of my tutu always being there till I'm 36 years old. I had my great-grandmother for 36 years of my life, and that is amazing. And the stories that she shared with me growing up, I'm starting to see more value in it now. So then as I continue my journey, there's these stepping stones that land in front of your feet. And for me, my trick is you just go with the trade winds, go with the flow. I'm learning over time, the more you try to control your life, the more your life is not going to be controllable. As I continued on my journey after college, I started to try to be an entrepreneur. I tried to do a small business. My whole thing was, I'm not going to work for nobody. I'm going to work for myself. I don't want to work for anybody else and make them money. So I started to do things. I started to design. And through designing, I came up with products and started a company, my own product company called Na'au Vala'au Designs. Got into the craft fair circuit, met a lot of people. 2 years to be able to do this without having to pay rent. 2 years came about. They said, okay, you have to start paying rent. I didn't make any money. I had to get a job. But throughout this time, I started to, just because I'm so interested, I didn't let anybody tell me, no, don't do it, but I wanted to go and sit in classes. So I sat in kappa class, how to pound kappa, which is traditionally, we read stories of, oh, only women pounded kappa. Okay, well, now there's this teacher who's allowing men to come in, and she that has no problem, so I stepped in to hopefully build a little bit more understanding of what is kappa, what is vauke, what is paper mulberry, what is this stick, what is this stone? And then from there that I got to La'au Lapa'au, Hawaiian medicine, just sitting in classes, reaching out on email off the WCC or Windward Community College. I literally just found email addresses on the website, emailed the teacher, do you mind if I just sit in your class? Not have to take tests, or I'm not going to register, but do you mind if I just sit in? She's like, oh yeah, come in. And I did that for like 2 years. And I'm literally just going into school on my days off and learning about Hawaiian medicine. From there, then it led me to other classes and other cultural practices. And I was just wondering, like, what the heck? Like, all of this, what I'm doing is what I'm interested in, but it's not making me any money. So I started to conflict with myself of, why am I spending all my time in terms of learning who I am, learning culture, but I have to pay the bills, I have to pay rent. It doesn't make any sense, but I have this i'ini, this drive, this desire to do something. And in your guys' seats, or even in college, they say, oh, you want to study Hawaiian studies? Yeah, because I'm so interested in culture. I'm so interested in language. Yeah, but if you get a degree in Hawaiian studies, what are you going to do afterwards? The only jobs you can get is being a flight attendant for Hawaiian Airlines, or you're going to be a teacher. So you're restricting yourself so low. So don't think about Hawaiian studies. Go do something else. That's what I was told when I'm sitting in your seat. While at the same time, inside me, I'm like, but I'm being so inspired. My tutu was telling me this, my kupuna, my other teachers. So why then is somebody else telling me don't do what I want to actually go for? And I think, fast forward to where I am today, it really didn't matter what anybody else said, because if they told me I'm not going to be able to get any job by doing Hawaiian studies, aside from a flight attendant or a teacher, I think I can prove you wrong right now. Because of my interest, I am now, through my journey, following the trade winds wherever it went, wherever it pushed me. I got an opportunity to be on the news. I ended up taking it. Again, I'm the person sitting in the back, very quiet, shy. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. But I ended up just saying, okay, fine, let's go for it. I'll try. And I ended up doing the gig. I ended up getting the job. And fast forward to today, I wear many different hats. On the weekends, I'm the weekend weatherman for KHON2. And then throughout the weekdays, Wednesday through Friday, I'm a reporter. And one of the days of those reporting days, I go out and I report on the street name. I go to the side of the, I go onto the corner, and I stand under the side of the street name on the sign, and I just give a little mo'olelo of what that street name talks about. So through just something simple, because we all have our phones, I was just using my phone. And how this started was all engage in social media. One of my kuleana for a job that I briefly had before this news station, one of my kuleana was social media and posts that we're going to do every day. So when it came about Wednesdays, I was thinking, what's the theme going to be? And I just remember walking through Waikiki one day, looking up at a street sign, and I was just thinking, Paua Kalani, what is that? Who is that? And then I thought, okay, what if I did Wednesdays? Who dat, what dat Wednesdays? So all I did was take a picture of the street sign, post it with a little caption underneath of what the street name meant. From there, then I just kept consistent. Then I started to go to video, and how do I go and turn a little post and make it a little bit more engaging? Because people on TV, I don't think any of you guys watch the news. When I was your age, I didn't watch the news. So what I'm sharing on TV, which are these street names, how then do I put it onto social media? How can I engage more with the keiki? So trying to find ways of how to put that on social media, make it interesting. So long story short, street names has been something that I've been reporting on for 7, 8 years at this point. And all I do is go to the street name, learn about what the street name means. Paua Kalani. Does anybody know what Paua Kalani means? I heard Hawaiian. Got part of it. So Paua Kalani. Paua means perfume. Kalani, royal. Paua Kalani, the royal perfume, and it speaks of Queen Liliuokalani's house in Waikiki. Once I learned something like that, oh wow, I didn't know that. Now I'm passing by where Paua Kalani used to be. It's a condominium now, right across the street from the Alawai. If you drive down the Alawai, you pass it all the time. And then you don't realize you're passing through Queen Liliuokalani's home. And it's little things like that that gets me super interested. Okay, well, what else is there? What else is there? So through all of this process, again, then I have the news and this platform to be able to share it. Now, I do have to give credit a lot to the station, because from sharing Hawaiian culture on the news, I know I'm not the first person to do it. I'm not the first person to try to do it. There have been people prior to me who actually has been told, no, don't share Hawaiian. No, don't put the Hawaiian word in there. No, don't put the okino or the kahako. So they were told no from their company. I, fortunately, have been told, if you can do it, go for it. We don't want to tell somebody to do it if they don't want to do it, but if you're interested, we'll give you the opportunity. So I took the opportunity and ran with it. So one thing I would like just to make note and put a pin on, if you are interested in something and somebody else is telling you, no, that sounds unrealistic, don't do it, try something else, don't listen to that. Because you never know where your interests are going to lead you. For everybody who told me, no, don't take Hawaiian studies, it's not going to get you any place aside from a flight attendant and teacher, well, I proved you wrong. So I would just like to share that with you humbly and say that don't allow somebody else to distract you from what you really want your career to be. You want to be a professional sports person? Go for it. But the trick that I found that worked for me is to be consistent. You cannot just do something for a day, a week, couple weeks. Okay, I'm tired, I'm going to fade out. And then you don't ever expect you to start to grow your roots like a tree if you're going to be moving around and not staying in your one space to let your roots grow in, because then it's not going to grow. So consistency, no matter what your interest is, if it's band, if it's sports, if it's astronomy, if it's being a doctor, if it's being a lawyer and you hate reading, but you really want to be a lawyer, go for it. But then you also need to know that your wishes and your hopes is nothing unless you put action behind it. So for me, I'm taking the chance to talk. I'm taking the chance to be on TV. Now, even though some people may say what I share on TV, sharing Hawaiian culture is awesome, there has been people who told me, emailed me, it's such a breath of fresh air to see Hawaiians on TV, to hear Hawaiian being spoken. I love it. Oh, by the way, can you not share Hawaiian culture? Because when I watch the news, all I want to watch is local news, national news, sports and weather, and that's it. If I want to learn Hawaiian stuff, I'll do it on my own time. Mahalo. That was the email. And he sent that one time. I didn't respond. He ended up sending it 2 more times to the station. And then I ended up approaching my boss, and I said, okay, this is what's going on. I got this. What do you think? And she says, don't even worry about it, because there are so many more positive than there are negative. But the message is that whatever you do, you're never going to please everybody. You're always going to ruffle somebody's feathers. But again, don't allow that to deter you from, if you want to be this, keep going on this. Where I'm at now, being able to talk in front of you, for me, it's a God thing. Because I would not be up here at your age. I was literally the quiet person. So throughout this time, it hasn't really just been a career and a job that's allowing me to pay my bills, but it's also giving me skills that I never thought I would gain through a career such as TV and broadcast. Because being on TV, first of all, you have to be in front of the camera. I was never in front of the camera. I was always in the back. Second is you have to talk clear. I can tell you right now, I'm not fluent in Hawaiian and I am not fluent in English. I'm still learning how to speak English. On TV, I'll have these things slip out and these just pigeon words. I remember my first year, I was working in the morning as a morning reporter, and I would start at 3 o'clock in the morning and we would finish at 11 o'clock in the morning. And one of the stories I did was at a fish market, I think it was, in Kaka'ako. And there was this, and this is live TV, and there was a big fish on the table. And I remember the guy coming back in and said, oh yeah, we just got this from the fish market. We're gonna cut it up and make it in poke. I think it was a poke bar or something like that. And then we call it a tease. A tease is when you're ending off on your report, leading into a commercial break. So you're teasing the viewers to stay through the commercial break. So when you come back, we're gonna have some cool stories to tell. So I was like, yeah, well, coming up after the break, I gotta tell my dad and my brother, bro, this is a humongous fish. Guess what I caught? And I was kind of going on that into the commercial. And then we have the producers and the directors in our ear, which is, first of all, me talking and somebody talking in my ear at the same time. If you ever hear me stumble on TV, majority of the time is because somebody just spoke in my ear. But when we went to commercial, the producer, you just said humongous. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's not a word. Yeah, it is. No, it's humongous. No, it's not. I've never heard anybody say humongous before. So I was like, no, humongous is the word. I went back to the station later when we finished, and one of the other reporters had said, as much as you teach people how to speak Hawaiian, you need to learn how to speak English. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, humongous. Like, I'm gonna just be who I am, and I'm gonna learn along the way, but I'm not gonna let you tell me to stop and I have to speak English. This is who I am. This is how I speak, and I'm gonna speak to all of you that you guys understand the word humongous. Does anybody not know what humongous is? Okay, see? Now, I know if I were to go onto the continent and do work for a news station someplace else, I would not be able to do that job. They would fire me off the spot. But I'm here as a reflection of my community and where I come from. And when I got this job, I realized, because again, I never watched TV, I didn't watch the news before, but I realized there was very little, if any, Hawaiians and Hawaiian knowledge being presented on the news. The reason why I ended up on the news was because there was an opportunity that landed in my lap. Now, when we see an issue, what's the first thing we like to do? Grumble, complain, fight, which is a natural thing. But if we think of the word kuleana, which I have mentioned a couple times so far, do we know what the word kuleana is? What does kuleana mean? Responsibility? I think that's the first answer that comes to our mind. But did you know that if you open Tutupuku'i's Hawaiian dictionary and you look at her translation of kuleana, the word privilege is stated before the word responsibility. When I'm growing up, when I say kuleana for me was go do my chores. Go in the backyard, rake the grass, pull the weeds, wash the dishes. That was kuleana. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing kuleana is much more than just that. And I'm starting to see that if there's an issue, my kuleana is then how can I help to fix the issue? I have a platform now in front of not just you, not just your parents. I have a platform that not just this island, the entire island chain, let alone the entire world can see, which that could be super intimidating, which it is. Just staring at you guys is super intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. But again, going back to, am I gonna allow somebody else to deter me from trying to follow through what I really wanna do? So I kept doing this and I kept pushing forward. Now, the thing that landed on my lap was back in 2017, in Waikiki we have a few different statues of our Hawaiian ali'i. You go drive into Waikiki from Ala Moana side, you have King Kalakaua statue. You drive down Kalakaua Avenue, you're gonna come across Duka Hanamoku statue. Then you pass Prince Kuhio statue. And Prince Kuhio is a very, very important person. There are street names in this Ahupua'a that bring attention to Prince Kuhio. Does anybody know who Prince Kuhio is? Who's Prince Kuhio? What was one thing Prince Kuhio did? Homestead. Who lives on Homestead? Okay, there's a few of you. Well, Prince Kuhio, first of all, there is a Princess Kahanu street or avenue or road. There is a Kealohilani street in this area. Princess Kahanu was the wife of Prince Kuhio. Prince Kuhio is responsible for the Hawaiian homelands. He was a full-blooded Hawaiian, the nephew to Queen Liliuokalani through adoption in Hanai. He was a full-blooded Hawaiian who fought to get Queen Liliuokalani back on the throne, got arrested for it, then became a proud American, serving in the U.S. Congress for over 20 years. Through that, he established what is known as the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, which then eventually led to the establishment of the Hawaiian homelands, and we know that today. So Prince Kuhio has a huge influence, especially on this side of the island. So one day, Halloween 2017, a friend of mine, I used to work at Bubba Gump's. So after I graduated college with a bachelor's degree, the only job I can get after applying for many jobs was a dishwasher at Bubba Gump's restaurant at Ala Moana. I applied for like at least 5 or 6 different jobs in more of a legal realm. The only job I can get was being a dishwasher. So I did that for a couple years, and I made a lot of friends. One of the friends from that time had sent me this video, and it was this video of a Waianae boy spray painting Prince Kuhio's statue with bright orange spray paint. And the video that was sent to me was of him spray painting it, saying that, Hawaiians lost Waikiki. Waikiki is taking off over Haole. Screw it already. Da, 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 da. Come to find out, he was a boy from Waianae. And then I'm thinking, okay, first of all, bad attitude. You have a problem, and all you're going to do, your first reaction is to spray paint and destroy and grumble. What positivity is coming from that? You're only contributing to the problem. So what I did, of course I got angry. Of course I got mad, and I did my own little vent session. But then after that, what did I do? I went on every single news station website I could find, every single email address from every single name. I had no idea who these people are. I put it on an email, and at this time I did these street name posts. Well, I sent those street name posts, I sent that video on an email to all the different news stations, and all I said was, if we had Hawaiian education integrated within our newscasts, it would be a win-win-win for everybody, because the community, we have to pay now to learn who we are. We have to pay to learn our history and our culture. So if there's free education in the news, we would be able to have an opportunity to learn more about who we are for free. You would win as the station, because then now you're coming across, I think, more caring to the community, that you're taking the time to integrate Hawaiian culture in your newscast for the community to learn. And then it would be a win for me, because I needed a job and I needed to pay rent. And I had no source at that time. Fortunately, KHON2 was the only station who responded and said, yeah, let's give that a shot. And that was my step into the news. So fast forward to January of 2018, just a couple months later, I started doing street segments in the morning news for free. It was like a free internship, and I did that for 2-3 months or so. Every morning, once a week, every Wednesday morning, I would wake up, go down, do like a 4-minute interview on the news, go back home, fall asleep, because I'm not a morning person. But I did that for a couple months. I ended up getting the request to apply for this upcoming opening position, which was the weather, and long story short, I got it. And I continue to do what I'm doing, but it all started because I had an issue that landed in my lap. And instead of me just grumbling, sitting on the sofa, pointing my finger at the news, like I have a lot of family members who do, and they're just grumbling, they're not doing this, they're not doing this. At the same time, they're making their imprint into the sofa deeper and deeper, because they're not doing anything. They just grumble. And if we just grumble without doing anything, we're not doing anything. So for me, it was finding a way to use my passion and my interest and my knowledge and use it somewhat to hopefully better, but I need to get paid. So this ended up working for me, and continuing today. Now, through this job, I'm realizing more, it's not necessarily just the stories that I'm sharing, but it's the skills that I've learned throughout this time. Again, speaking in front of you, I am only learning now how little bit people in our population across the world can speak in front of people. And I'm realizing if you're more confident and comfortable in talking in front of people, you have so much more power and ability to do something. So I would just put it out now. For those who are ashamed for talking, those who are quiet, push yourself to talk. And I know it could be very shameful because of friends and criticism and judging, but that's part of the experience, is push yourself out there. Because in a paddling world, I was also a paddling coach for Waikiki Surf Club for a few years. And the one thing that stuck in my mind is, there's 6 people in a canoe. The moment one person looks at another canoe when you're in a race, you just lost a paddler. And now your competition just gained a paddler. So when you're in the momentum, you got to stay focused, and you got to keep going, and you got to push yourself, and you have to be the leader. I was told you should have 6 leaders in a canoe and not 6 followers. Or 5 followers and the paddling steersman, which is the captain, and he's going to be the leader. If everybody in the canoe treats themselves as the leader and everybody's following them, think how powerful that canoe can be. Rather than one leader and everybody else is just following and being in the shadow of the leader. Does that make sense? So I was told, you want to be the leader, so push yourself out there. For me, being here and starting out my speech with a chant, that one captures the attention. Saying this very humbly, I was able to capture this room from the first note in my chant. But if I wasn't confident in putting myself out there, then you guys could still be talking, and I'm over here trying to talk in front of you and talk over you, because you probably wasn't control the space. If you can control the space and you have a message to share, think how powerful and effective your message can be when you can control the space. But you're never going to control the space if you never put yourself there and talk. And I know a lot of people, even just looking around, I look at you guys, and a lot of you guys look down. It's putting your shame on the side and speaking out, because your voice and your words are powerful. If it's from sports, you want to share sports. If it's from the medical world, if it's a startup, whatever your background or your interests are, the more you can speak, the more powerful you can be. So Anybody, let's see, I was saying audience participation. Would anybody want to stand up and share a little bit about maybe the street that you live on? Yes. Stand up and speak loud so everybody can hear you.
Art and other creative stuff can help me when I'm stressed. And like, I want to share my drawing sometimes, and I'll put it out there. I'll just do that, and yeah. Well, my street name? Sometimes I go by Das. Das.
Mahalo. Anybody else? Anybody else wants to share what street you live on? But you got to stand up. I'm going to give you the microphone because the whole point is put yourself out there. And if you're going to be shamed, nobody's going to hear. Raise your hand. You. Oh, yeah, everybody's telling you what street you live on, brother.
Huh? Manuku. Manuku.
Do you know what that means? Me neither. I'm not going to make anything up. Anybody else? Stand up and say something. Yes. Feel free, sister. Stand up. I'll give you the mic so everybody can hear you.
Kulaha Puni. Kulaha Puni.
Anybody from this side? I had two people from this side of the room. Who would like stand up? No shame. No shame. Why are you going to tell everybody else go talk, but you don't like talk? What street you live on, buddy?
I don't live nowhere.
See, it's easy. I do this. One more. Okay. You had your hand up. Stand up, sister. Put your name and what street you live on.
I'm Steven Fernandez, and I live in Cornelio Street of Waianae Valley.
Brother, color my beautiful hair. One more. Anybody else? Okay, we want to get some of the band. Get some of the band. In the back.
Poakai Kenawe.
What do you know what that means?
No, I don't.
Okay. Thank you. So all of this was just to get you out of the comfort zone and speak. This is what I have to do. Okay, if somebody comes up and, oh, here, come on, you can speak. You cannot double think. You just have to push yourself because, you guys know more and have much more in you than you feel you do because your stress, your anxiety. For me, in this job, you're forced to push yourself. But the benefit of it is, look, you guys are all listening. You guys all started to participate. Be the leader. Don't be the follower. And with that, mahalo nui for having me. And hopefully that instilled something in you. Mahalo.
Sit down. Sit down. I'm going to wait till everybody's seated and your mouth is closed, and then we can move to the next thing. Cool. How about everybody say thank you to Kamakapili for being here today? Another round of applause. Thank you, brother, for being here today, man. We appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Okay, here are your instructions, okay? Do not move. Do not open your mouth until I say go. Okay, so what's going to happen is that you guys are going to go to second period right now, okay? Obviously, first period is probably going to second period. You got that part, right? I know it's only your second day back, but you got that part. Okay, so you guys are going to exit out that door. You guys are going to exit out that door, okay? You guys up here, you guys are exiting out that door. Go evenly. You guys go row by row. Don't everybody try rush the door. Don't trip off of being 1 minute late because you're 1 minute late every day anyway. Take your time getting out of the cafeteria. Do not cause panic. If the row in front of you has not moved, if the row behind you has not moved, do not move. Are we good? Okay, cool. All right, have a good day, guys.